Good afternoon, everybody out here. Thanks for joining me today. Normally we do the show at 8 p.m. It seems we don't get a lot of people at a time, so I've decided to do the show at random times throughout the day. Whenever every Saturday, I will try to find some time to just come in and speak briefly about the Liberian Diaspora Corporation, some of the updates pertaining to the organization, and our big upcoming event on the 31st of this month. We've been advertising for over 2 months. Up here in the Merrimack Valley. If you're here in New England, if you're in Rhode Island, you're in New Hampshire, you're in Massachusetts especially, we want you to join us. We got hundreds of people that will be coming. Come and join us. Let's talk about Liberia and ways to improve the conditions of our country, how we can improve conditions in Liberia through job creation. But today, I want to talk to you guys on a simple topic pertaining to the country. The focus here is some of the obstacles that are in the way of Liberia's development. We will have that brief conversation. So I'm going to share the show to a few platforms so we can come and talk about Liberia and talk about ways to improve the conditions in the country. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for not losing faith. I need people to understand, especially the people that are on board with me, that this is not going to be easy. I don't expect it to be easy. I expect some obstacles in the way, and I expect some difficulties, but we are going to navigate those difficulties, and we are navigating them. Like I said, if you're in New England, if you're in Rhode Island, if you're in the Worcester area here in Mass, if you're in Boston, if you're in Lowell, Massachusetts, if you're anywhere within a 50-mile radius of the state of Massachusetts, we want you to join us in Lowell, Massachusetts. We'll be having a massive event talking about how we can strategize to find ways to improve the conditions on the ground in Liberia through private enterprise. Please join us. It will be a live event. It's all over. I'm sending it to everybody that I can. Anybody who will listen, I will send it to them. I was actually at a graduation party last night. I met a bunch of Liberians, and I also give it to them. If you see our flyers, please, we want you to share the flyers. We'll be starting the show in less than 30 seconds. We will be talking about the issue of Liberia and the obstacles that are in the way of Liberia's development, how we navigate those obstacles so we can improve conditions in the country. Once again, my name is Ensu Opadualu, and I will start the show in 30 seconds. There we go. So let's go ahead. I think this is this one right here. Thank you so much for joining me. Those of you who've joined, I see my own girl here, Kim. Kim, how you doing? It's been a minute. How's up there in Minnesota? I don't know if you still live up in Minnesota. I think you do. Welcome to the show, guys. Those of you who will watch the show later on, I said welcome to the show. Leave your comments. I always try to respond to the comments. The topic here today is a simple topic. If you look, I got the topic posted, and I want you to take a look at what's out there. And it's simple. The obstacle is the way. The thing that went in front of us, that direction we're supposed to go. The obstacle is the way. One of my most favorite quotes that I enjoy is from Marcus Aurelius. And this is what he always says. He said, listen, the impediment of action advances action. And I will break that down what that means today. The impediment of action advances action. The obstacle is the way. The things that stay in the way of Liberia progress, that's the direction we should be heading. And I will list some of the things that stay in the way today of our development and what we need to do, especially those of us here in the diaspora, to promote and remove those obstacles so the country can develop. This is the discussion here today. The obstacle is the way. The obstacle that stands in the way of Liberia's development, it is the way that we should be going. This is Marcus Aurelius. Once again, let me repeat his quote. The impediment to action advances action. The thing that's stopping you from moving in front, that the thing is supposed to go to so you can move in front. This is exactly what he's trying to tell us. The obstacle is the way. Look, and I will repeat this maybe several times during the show. I'm usually here for an hour. We're already in 7 minutes, and I'm going to say this. The Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund, we are having our first in-person event on the 31st of May. If you're in the New England area, We are asking you to join us. You can go to Eventbrite and reserve your seat. Yes, there is a cater event. It's a black tie event. Find a beautiful costume, your bow tie, your suspenders. Get a beautiful dress. I want you to join us so we can elevate Liberia in some fashion. I need you to join us. If you can make it there, please join us on the 31st of May. It will be a massive event. We got hundreds of Liberians that are already trooping in. They're coming to be at that event. It's a cater event. It's a beautiful black tie event. I want you to come. Let's do some quick things for our country. Remember the topic today. The obstacle is the way. Now, what is stopping Liberia from moving in front is what I'm going to address here today. I began with a quote from Marcus Aurelius. The impediment of action advances action. The thing that's stopping us from going in front, that are very thing we must surmount in order to be able to move in front. And what are some of those things that are stopping Liberia's growth? What are some of those things that are completely bottlenecking the process of Liberia's growth? What is happening to our country, the reason why we can go in front? And I want to say this, and people, maybe you, that's why I love the comment. Mention that in the comment. I would love to hear from you. I could be wrong, but this is what I think. I think those of us in the diaspora, we've not taken our proper place in order for Liberia to grow. We are also an impediment to Liberia's growth. Let me repeat this. Liberians in the diaspora are standing in the way of Liberia's growth, and I will quantify that for you, not because we are doing anything substantially negative, but because we are not taking our proper place. We are an impediment to Liberia's growth. I want you to understand it. We are a massive impediment to Liberia's growth. Remember, the obstacle is the way. For me, I don't like to dwell too much on government because government has failed us so long. We will push the government, and I don't want anybody to leave here today saying, Mr. Dwalo saying the government does not have a responsibility for the growth of our country. Primary responsibility falls on the shoulders of the government. The primary responsibility falls on the shoulders of the government. But in order for the government to shoulder that burden, the private citizens, the private sector, must force the government to carry the kinja of Liberia that they have sworn oath to do. Our responsibility, part of that impediment is that we are not taking about our civil responsibility to the country to force the government in the direction that we so desperately want. Remember, the impediments to action advance the action. So for action to be advanced, we must remove those obstacles. So Liberians, especially those of us in the diaspora, we must find a way to remove some of the obstacles that are barring Liberia from moving in front. And this is why the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund was set up. So we can go into the country with one fist. One fist. We can go into the country and remove some of those obstacles that are literally burdening the country. I would never leave the government behind in terms of the responsibility to Liberia. The corporation recognizes this. We know the issue of law and order is an impediment to Liberia's growth. But let me tell you something about law and order. Law and order cannot truly come to full bear if the society substantially is disintegrated. We must build the society from the base, which is the family unit. I will cover that extensively today about the family unit and the disintegration of the Liberian society. But I want you to follow me for a second here. I want you to listen to me very carefully. The impediments that are stagnating Liberia, it is something that we can surmount easily if we make the calculated decisions to do it. But if we just resign to the fact that Liberia is a lost cause, and we here in the West, we cannot do anything to lift the country, we are actually adding to the obstacles that are standing in the way of Liberia because we are giving up. We don't have the luxury to give up on Liberia. And here's the reason why you don't have that luxury. During our civil war, those of us who were saved, and those of us who, especially those of us who left the country as children, we went to Western locations, we got educated. We have a duty. The reason why we were saved is so we can come back to the country and turn back to Liberia in a major way. I've defined what major way means. It's not a typical definition. In a major way. But we've not come home in a major way. We've sent money home in a major way, but we have not conglomerated that money in a fashion that's going to lift the country. It's just some of the obstacles that is in the way of Liberia. It's disorganization. We must organize better, and this is what the corporation intends to do. I will keep repeating this. We are having our first in-person event here in the state of Massachusetts. If you're anywhere in New England, I'm going to ask you to join us on the 31st. Go to Eventbrite. Just type in the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund. It's posted on the screen, and it will pop up. You can reserve your seat. The seats are going fast. We want people to come in. We got a lot of people in the Miramar Valley that will be present. We got a lot of people out of Providence that will be coming. We got people out of Worcester, Mass. We got people out of Fitchburg, Massachusetts. We got people coming out of Salem, Massachusetts, out of Boston, Massachusetts. And we want you guys to come and join us so we can find a way to elevate our homeland. The obstacles that are standing in the way of Liberia, they equate to unemployment. It's an obstacle. Unemployment. The corporation intends to change this. Massive unemployment in the country. A man cannot become a man unless he has a job. A woman cannot maintain her self-worth unless she has a job to be able to make decisions that are independent of any factors that will influence her. How do we bring that to full bear? It's what keeps me up at night. Unemployment is an obstacle to the elevation of Liberia. Remember, the impediment of action advances action. This is Marcus Aurelius. And the reason why he's saying this is because, listen, I play it too hard to go there. If I go there, it will be difficult. But that's the path that's going to get you propelled towards the direction that you want to go. If we find a way to eradicate unemployment in Liberia, if we find a way to substantially reduce unemployment, we are one step towards the elevation of our homeland. The lack of consequence for a man's action. Some people will hate me for this, but you know, Dwalu, you don't feel nobody more. In Liberia, you know, one of the most dangerous obstacles to the elevation of our country is I would just leave it to God. Don't leave it to God. God don't want you to leave it to him. Let me repeat this. If a man commits a crime, especially against the people of the Republic, he must be consequenced. We refuse to do this. It's an impediment to our growth. A massive impediment to the growth of the Republic because we refuse to consequence an individual for the acts he's committed against the state. So we leave it to God. God is mad at you because the duties that he's giving to us, we've continued to leave it to him. You are not going to shift your responsibility at the feet of Jehovah God when God has given you an opportunity, the intellect and the capability to solve those problems yourselves. God got 8 billion problems to attend to. I don't think he's going to be focused on just you alone. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is Marcus Aurelius. What is standing in the way of Liberia? It is for the diaspora to organize better. That's one thing that's standing in the way of Liberia. It's for government to understand that they have a duty to the Republic and they cannot discretionarily decide not to implement those duties because they don't feel like it. It is not a choice to enforce the laws that are governing our society. You don't have the option. If you saw an oath to the Republic, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. This is not a choice. It's a duty that is far greater than you. It's an awesome responsibility that cannot be neglected. But what we've done to the Republic is to neglect those responsibilities because it doesn't make us feel good. I don't want you to feel good. I want you to be safe. I want the Liberian family to be kept together. I want Liberian men to wake up in the morning and go to work. I want Liberian women to take care of our children and raise better Liberian children. I want them to go to work. I want a proper community. I want dignity. I want order in my society. How are we going to get order? If we neglect the very tenets of democracy or the very tenets of building a society, because it will make somebody feel bad. In fact, I want you to feel bad. especially if you've done something against my people, against the Republic of Liberia. If you take something that belongs to Saniquele, your one you take out, you say now you eat it. Then you say that the man won and steal. I don't care about that man won. I care about the ripple effects across the country and the consequence to the larger population. This is what we do. So this does no longer become about an individual. The Liberian Diaspora Corporation has to take a proper place. And I will need you to join us. We cannot do this alone. We cannot turn Liberia around if we do not raise this money. The impediment of action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is the way. This is Marcus Aurelius. And Liberian people, I want you to listen to me. If you listen to one of my podcasts, you know this. The Liberian family is center to everything I do, because I believe the building block of our society starts with the family unit. The family unit has been disintegrated so massively, it shames me to my core. I was reading an article, it was last week, and I've read this paper before. I believe it was in graduate school many years, almost 15 years ago, and it was a Patrick and Daniel Patrick Moynihan report. It was a report that was published, I believe, around 1965 during Lyndon B. Johnson's administration about the Black family in America. And the gist of the report was, because the single motherhood or the single mother family unit, where the woman now was heading the family, if nothing was changed about the Black family in America, the Americans, Black American, would have been in extreme poverty 20, 30, 40 years down the road. In fact, they were going to be so poor, they're going to be worth literally zero compared to every $100 that a white person is worth in America. You got to read the whole report. It's called the Moynihan Report. And as I was going through the report, and I went back, I tried to reread the report. And the report pointed to several things that I want to point out here today. Let me tell you something. If we do not protect the Liberian family, man and woman, to head the family, two people married, the out of wedlock birth that is burdening our society, we don't even think this is crucial to the elevation of the republic. This is paramount. This is the building block of our society we have neglected in a substantial way. I don't want one woman raising my journey. I want my value impacted to my boys and my daughter. Me. I don't want another man to impact that to my children. This is how we elevate our society. Now, the Moynihan Report points this out, and this is happening to our society. The Liberian Diaspora Corporation recognizes this, that we must go back to the foundation. And to protect the Liberian family, we must give the Liberian man a job. We must find a job for him. We must find a way to put Liberian women to work so they can maintain their dignity. The corporation recognizes this. We know the obstacle of elevating our society is first and foremost strengthening the Liberian family. And part of strengthening that family is to provide job for the man and woman. Every show, I speak directly to the president. Mr. President, you told me that we will build a massive private sector in this country, that we will lay the foundation so Liberian men can get dignity. How are we going to get dignity back to the men in the country if we do not provide jobs for our people? The corporation, let me tell you something. Those of you in America, those of you in Australia, those of you in Canada, those of you in Europe, you believe you have arrived. You have arrived, but you cannot turn your backs on Liberia. We must not. You must join this effort so we can leave something that will protect the Liberian family. We got to organize better, y'all. I want you to go to Eventbrite. If you're living in New England, we will come to Minnesota, but it costs money to raise money. And we are begging everywhere we can to be able to put money together to come to these cities and let you know that we must go back home in a major way. The Liberian family, according to Moynihan, the Black American family, but I'm likening it to the Liberian family as well because it's equally applicable. We're born by the woman, we leave the baby with her. The woman alone cannot raise that child. By extension, We are destroying the society. Our community are being zogorized because the order is not there. To help the government, the private sector must be birthed. We must breathe tremendous life into the private sector to the enterprise. To the enterprise. Law and order will come if the family unit is strengthened, because mothers and fathers will make sure to give children the proper discipline, the proper morals. Look, when I was a boy in Buchanan, it was almost impossible for me to go do frisking and outside byways. Somebody not catch me. Opa, I would tell you, pa, my papa will want me over plus. And then the order has been missing from our society, and we are creating a chaotic society. A society that's going to be continued to be riddled with extreme poverty. Look, do you recognize that for the very first time in Liberia's history, since 1822, that for the very first time, the generation that is going to come after us is going to be worse off economically, less educational wise? Don't worry about all the plenty of degrees they're giving in Liberia. Don't worry about them. Look at the quality of the degrees that are coming out of these universities. Look at the qualities of these degrees. Do you really want to tell me that it's of the highest standard, that is of average standard, or regionally, that is in at least the top tier of proper degrees be given to our children in the country? Look at the quality coming out of the high schools. Those of us in the diaspora, we cannot turn our backs on Liberia. Remember, the impediment to action advances action. Marcus Aurelius. And I want us to remove those impediments. And part of removing those impediments is to strengthen the Liberian family through job creation, through private sector job expansion through our country. If you got time, one of you guys, check out the Monahan report from 1965. This is what's happening to Liberia. If the issue of the disintegration of the Liberian family is not handled immediately, the society will continue to digress massively. And whether that reversal or that digression is going to be tackled so easily, do we have the infrastructure to tackle those digressions or the dissolution of the family? Do we have that infrastructure? Do we? I would say no, we do not have the infrastructure to tackle what is happening to the country, the dissolution of the Liberian family. We must keep men together. We must keep men and women together. We must keep the family together, rather. We must keep the family together. And part of keeping the family together is to provide jobs for the men and the women in the country. A two-parent household. We must promote this. And we believe the corporation can play a crucial role. Should the diaspora do something about what is happening to our country? I'm going to allow you guys to answer that question. Should we do something, those of us in Australia? Should we do something, those of us in Canada? All over America? Should we do something about what's happening in Liberia? I'm posing the question because I believe we've not done something in a substantial way for a very long time. I am not talking about you sending school fees home to your children. That's not what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like my sister Taylor Gibson would say, so I just have 3 man course, podcasts on the show. You see the number go to 400-500. This is what interests us. How have we become like this? And mind you, if you went to Liberia on a Sunday, all the churches are failed. Go there on a Friday, all the mosques are failed. But where's the moral of the society? Let me tell you how you strengthen moral of the society. A man must pay for his crime, irrespective of how he feels about those consequences. There should be no hesitation about a man or woman paying for the crimes that he or she consciously committed against the people of the Republic of Liberia, anybody else for that matter. It is an obstacle. It is the way. Law enforcement is the way. Employment in a majority way is the way. Creating large-scale manufacturing, or even we can start with small-scale manufacturing, is the way. strengthening the Liberian family, and promoting to making sure there is a two-household family in our country where people are not leaving the children to one woman and she just have to raise 4 or 5 children, and she's going to raise them in a substandard way. That means we're going to get less quality Liberian that will be able to take over to expand our country and protect the republic. People tell me, Walu, you're fighting a lost cause. You're fighting, nothing will become. Liberians don't do anything right. God, I don't want to believe that. I so don't want to believe that. I believe we can rise to the occasion and believe there is something bigger than you and I. The glory of our republic, the development of Liberia, the strengthening of the Liberian family, the provision of jobs for men and women in our republic, the protecting of communities, the building of communities, the enlarging of the happiness in our society, the expanding of the happiness in our society, and creating proper family units that will protect Liberia. I know they're bigger than me, far bigger than me. I don't know about you. But that has to be built by us. For something to be protected, all kind of put hand around it, we build it together. This is what the cooperation is about. Like I said, we are continuing to raise the money. People are continuing to send the money in, even though they're trickling in little by little. And I recognize and I realize that I can no longer do this part-time. It's not feasible. It's not possible. I have to do this full-time. We are reaching out as much as we can. We are having our first event here in the state of Massachusetts. I want you to join us if you can make it. The flyers are everywhere. The number is actually posted here. Anybody can call me directly if you want more questions, if you have more questions. If you have anything you want to say, I want you guys to understand one thing. Liberia would not develop. Liberia would not take a proper place if her sons and daughters continue not to look back to Liberia in a major way. I want you to think about something. Most of us that were fortunate, I'm not talking about the babies that were born here, they will not understand this. But most of us who were fortunate to have come to a Western location, before we came here, some of us fasted. We went to prayer mothers. We had tithe. We read the Bible constantly. We pray and say, Jehovah God, if you take me out of this country, I will serve you. I will do this. I will do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you, it's part of the service to Jehovah God. It's to serve your fellow man. God said, you didn't see me before. You know what you're a lawyer. But the man that I created in my own image was sitting right near you. You can't look to him. How convinced can I be that you even care about me? Our duty to Liberia is not optional, folks. It's not something you can turn your back on. It's not something you can say you know are wrong. The issues in Liberia are too difficult. Remember, the impediment to action, advance is action. The obstacle is the way. What stands in the way is the way. The very obstacles that you alluded to, the very obstacle that you believe cannot transform Liberia, is the way we have to go. The thing about in Liberia, that's the direction we have to take. Marcus Aurelius knew something that we have to learn from. The impediment to action, advance is action. The obstacle is the way. If unemployment is the obstacle to the elevation of our society, we have to tackle unemployment. If the dissolution of the Liberian family is the obstacle that is burdening our society, we have to find a way to put Liberian men and women to work to keep the Liberian family together so we can raise proper children. What would we say to our children? Look, every day, I look at my son last night. He was going to his prom. And I said, wow. And I thought about Liberia. And Ensu's been giving top quality everything since he was born. 7 university acceptance. He's there saying, Daddy, I don't want to go to any one of the university. I want to go to the university you and mommy went to. I'm proud of him that he wants to go there. And that's where he's going to go. He said, well, Daddy, that's where I want to go. A couple months, he's going off to college. 17 years old. How can we say that to the children back home when they don't have equal access to that? How? And so private schools. great education, because I want to give him the best. He got to be better than me. But can we say that to the children in Liberia, that we as a people collectively, we are doing everything humanly possible to give them, to make sure the children coming after us are far better than we are? I think I just described for my firstborn son. I believe the Liberian Diaspora Corporation can do this. We will raise this money. We'll raise tens of thousands of dollars already. I'll repeat this. We're having our first event on the 31st of May. A lot of Liberians are saying they're going to be there. You can still go to Eventbrite and purchase your ticket. Reserve a hall so far for 250 people that will be coming. It's a black tie event. It's a killer event. We're going to have talking about a way to come home in a major way. A way that all can come home. And like we say in Liberia, buttress the government's effort to do private enterprise. We have to put men and women to work, y'all. Look, the government only has the capacity to hire top 40,000 people. Anything extra, the government just trying to mango because there is no job in the country. The private sector has the potential to have unlimited capacity for employment. Let me repeat. The private sector has the capacity to put every single Liberian man and woman to work. And then we cross over into Guinea and Sierra Leone and Africa and bring people to come and work. This is the possibility of the corporation. Remember, the corporation has 4 basic objectives. 4 basic. We in the diaspora, we have a duty. We have a massive duty to not just pray for Liberia or to love Liberia, but we have to effectuate some change in the country that elevates the country. 4 basic objectives. Number 1 is to make our shareholders money. The people money has to be protected. We have to protect it, and we have to grow that money. Number 2, we have to create massive amount of jobs across the country through private enterprise. Number 3, we have to fight to have economic influence in our country where we control commerce. Liberians must control commerce in Liberia. Number 4 is to get Liberian expertise back to the country so we can improve the human capital of our society. This is the aim of the corporation. But those of you in Australia, those of you in Canada, I think I have about maybe 10 or 15 people out of Canada that are bought shares. And the funny thing is, out of Canada, I'm going to say this to the people of Canada, big salute. Y'all have $1,000 share, Canada, I may give me 10 shares, I may give me 10 shares. Now, a lot of people in America are buying 10 shares as well. But Canada, out of I think the 11 people, 9 bought 10 shares each. I'm so proud of Canada. Australia, I only got 2 people that have purchased out of Australia so far. The bulk of it's from the States. I know Australia, I have not targeted you enough yet. But like I said, we will get on the road. I'm in preparation to quit my job. I have to get on the road. I have to come to your churches. I have to come to your homes. And I have to say this to you, that our country has to be awakened so we can take our proper place. I don't want you to hear anymore that we cannot rise to the occasion. That Liberia team, me and Tyler Liberia, you cannot. This is our heritage. This is our home. Nobody else will develop this location but us. Let me tell you, I told you guys earlier about the Liberian family, the Montague report. Dan Patrick Montague from 1965, about the dissolution of the family. Without women raising children by themselves, it's going to destroy our society, and it's happening in larger and larger numbers. As we have more women raising these children, we need 2-parent household, 2 income to be able to raise proper children. You cannot pregnant the people's daughter and you leave the baby with her. Her one cannot raise that child because that child is not going to be raised right. You need a pa and a man to add their own there, and you need the whole community to help the way I was raised, the way how most Liberians of my age group were raised. The whole community raised us. But nowadays, our communities are being dissolved. Everything is not going right. The diaspora must come in, and we must go home in a major way. And the major way that I've said to you repeatedly is to create private sector jobs across the country that elevates the country, to put men and women to work, to put people like my Jew Cleo to work. I know Cleo won't wear bar way. I can see Cleo now. Valu, I come into that office there, my drummer. You be waiting for me. Cleo la. This is how we elevate the country. Let's put them to work. Let's take my brother Musa. I said, Musa, my man, come to work. Go to the factory. Go to the wheelbarrow factory. You know, we'll give you $200-300 a month. Let's start from somewhere. Let's build something that we control. Let's create Liberian millionaires through the corporation. Let them go back to Vonjima and expand Vonjima. Let them go back to Barclayville and Lexington and expand those locations. Look at how she's saying Bowie. I know. Let us improve the conditions of our country. Because if we start staying here, Liberian industry in the diaspora have a $20 billion cap. Let me repeat, I'll put that number down small for you. $20 billion that what we take home every year. All the money in Liberia, all the goods and services in Liberia, and I read $4 billion. All the things we can do in Liberia, I go into the steady brother, I go into the drinking bar, I hire a lawyer, I take car from Warrior to Inter. All that money you put it together is around $4 billion. $4 billion, just four. Liberians in the diaspora, we have a $20 billion cap minimum every single year. The average Liberian here in this country makes about $45,000 a year. We can find $1,000 of money. I'm not asking for a lot of money from you guys. I want each of us to just put $1,000 together. I read you your share certificate. We document this. This is a registered incorporated business here in the state of Massachusetts and through the federal government, all the federal agencies. The goal here is to raise this money. We organize better. We put a board of directors together. We found like the best and brightest minds. We go back to the country. We effectuate some change through the industry, to the private corporation. It costs money to raise money. And this is what I'm continuing to fight. We've reached out to the president. Yes, Oprah reached out to him. We need seed money. And this money can be refunded back to the government because we have to get on the road. I have to find 4 or 5 other people. I say it's currently in Liberia. Fatima is here temporarily. She was actually be at the event as well. Fatima being that's ready will be at the event. She will be filming this live for us. So Liberian can know the black tie event that I was talking about. I will be the guest speaker. We'll have other Liberians that will speak as well. The goal here is to find a way to grow Liberia to do private and enterprise. How do we control the ports? How do we expand the ports? How do we control exports and imports to our country? It must be done by us. We cannot allow foreigners to come to the country and become millionaires. And we become store boys, store girls. You go to LU, you get all the B degree. You got to go to somebody called Chi. Chi, it's not easy. It's not easy. Not easy. Get on the phone. Somebody call you. Do you think they really want to do that? I don't know one man. I don't know one man. I'm talking about a rational man now. That just want to go be begging another man for money. I don't even know one woman I want to do that. I want to give Liberian men and women option to make an independent decision that is void of any influence that can be directed with the way the person feels. I want them to make a decision entirely of their own making, not through influence. And I believe the cooperation can come to full bear. Remember the message I will leave with you today. Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way, it is the way. It becomes the way. The obstacle is the way. The thing that's stopping Liberia from where we eat from, that way we have to go. Unemployment is the way. We got to take it from there. The family structure that is wobbly, where we get single mother all over the country. We have baby by this person, nobody takes care of it. Okay? You ask baby by Cleo, is it Cleo like a das? She be suffering with that child one. This is not okay. My girl Musu here. How do we address this? How do we change this? Lack of consequence in our society. It is the way. That is an obstacle. That's the way. Unemployment, it is the way. The next generation, the first time in Liberia's history, that the next generation is going to be worse off than every preceding generation if nothing is done to change it. And I believe we still have some time if we organize better now to get to the country and try to save that generation for what is left of it, the younger kids to put in place the structure to elevate the country. This is the dream of the corporation. And I will continue to ask you guys here in the diaspora to remember our duty to country. And our duty to country is $1,000 right now. It doesn't mean you cannot still send. Some people are buying 30 shares. Some people are buying 40 shares. Those people, if you can afford more, buy more. But we are asking you for a minimum of $1,000 to buy 10 shares. This is not charity. This is not free money. And somebody told me, Valu, that money you taking, you go on vacation with the Tanzania, you holding lion tail and all that. I said, hey, my people, so for your money, I'll not go on my vacation. That vacation last year, I want that vacation. I said, hey, my people, oh, do I do that whole vacation you did? You're picking Loisha, I ain't going to prom. My people, no, I won't go to jail. I can tell people money. That's one thing I would never do. So I want you to relax, be comfortable. There is no such thing. You don't have to worry about it. Like I said, the money is sitting in an account that's locked. Nobody's going to bother it. If we don't raise the money and the money is too small, we can't do nothing. We'll return everybody money to them. Say, listen, there's nothing we can do. And Liberian people say, well, they're not going to join us. We don't have the seed money to raise the money. And we hope our government comes to full bear and recognizes that the goal here is to help what the government is doing, to expand the private sector, to groom Liberians that are better than we are so we can continue to develop. As always, and I'll leave you with what President Bwaka always says, I want you to think Liberia always. I want you to love Liberia. I want you to pray for Liberia. And together, all we can develop Liberia. Once again, my name is Ansu Opa Dwalu, and I'm broadcasting from the great state of Massachusetts. It was such a pleasure, as always. Enjoy your day, y'all. It's a beautiful Saturday today. Enjoy your day.